Hey, shalom, shalom. We finna do this thing right quick like, hey, you out here in the blue room. You see the blue room. Boom, boom, boom. Nah, I'm on the outside on my porch. I'm giving you this video because why? The last video, before we do anything, I want you to really hear me on this. I had a lot to correct me. And I say to all y'all who contacted me and talked to me, you was absolutely right. What they was right on? Okay. I said in the last video that we read stuff right to left. That was wrong. We read stuff left to right. Hebrews read stuff right to left. So, you're right. And I looked at the video, hey, it said the same thing, that I said that we in the English people, we read stuff right to left, but we don't. We read it left to right. So, in saying that, that shows me that somebody is listening. That shows me somebody is really benefiting from what's going on. So since they benefiting, I want to go ahead and jump right into this because I got some juicy stuff. Still give a shout out to my nephew, his wife, Pastor Gurley and his wife, all the Mercy Way crew. My wife, we give a shout out to her, her family, because this goes on her news feed too, so shout out to everybody who is accommodating with her. I just ask you, if you will, if you have any questions, send your questions. Let's get this thing together, because we've been in the dark too long. We've been really in the dark as a second-class citizen too long. All they have shown us is to keep this, see, as a second-rate citizen. I'm here to tell you, you are the choice. You are the apple of the Father's eye. I'm here to tell you, and it ain't because of your Christian walk or your Hindu walk or your Islam walk or it ain't because of, or your Catholic, it ain't because of that. It's because he chose us and not we chose him. Why? I can't give you no kind of understanding why the Father chose Judah. I don't know why. I don't know why the Father chose Jerusalem, or Jerusalem is the real pronunciation. When you saying Jerusalem, well, we already know about the letter J. Bump all that. We already know that. It's really Jerusalem. When you really know that you is not a Gentile, but you is the bride, that changed the whole dynamic, the way that we come, the way that we worship. As a Gentile, you're trying to make it in. As a bride, you are center stage, meaning that there got to be a difference between you and religion. Everybody talking about it's got to be a difference between you and the world. No, it got to be a difference between you and the way you worship and the way that the rest worship. Let me go on in. First, let's get this prayer out the way. that the Father may bless whatever is said and whatever is done. Y'all, we coming to you the humblest way we know how. Father, through your Son, Emmanuel, who is our Homicide, our high priest, we lay our petition before you. That you may go and give it to the Father, Emmanuel. Speak on our behalf. We ask that the anointing have a free course. That anybody that hears these lessons will understand that it's not coming from me, Eddie. It's coming that you may be understand what the Father has planned for you. I lay it all out. I give you all that I have. I speak all that I can. And I just ask, let your blessing fall down on them, Father. Whoever or whatever, let it fall on them. Whatever need they have, my Father, meet their need. Whatever hurt they have, Father, heal the hurt. You said that you come that we may have life, and that it may be more abundant. So, Father, I just ask you, let your will be done in this segment. All the blessings we ask through the name of Emmanuel. You say amen and amen. Now, let me first do a quick review. I gave you 1917, November the 2nd. I gave you 1948, Palestine. I gave you Red Chill. I told you to type in your browser Kaiser Lie, Khazar Lie, L-I-E. And when you type the Kaiser Lie in there also, and the Jewish Satans, also the Rothschild family, I want you to hold on to that. Because in the other series, which this is the second series in the second beginning, we ask everybody that, hey, please bear with me because I may go over just for a little bit. Because I had to do what I have to do, and I'm already up to almost 10 minutes. So I want to give you as much information as I can. And then, you be the judge. Well, as we recap, I said about North Africa and the Middle East. I ask you right now, how many of you is familiar with the Suez Canal? That man-made waterway. See, this is so significant. Why is it so significant? I want you to hear me. The ones that orchestrated for the Aztec Jews to come out of Russia and to have a home, the ones who orchestrated that is the ones behind the Suez Canal. They dug that trench. They separated Africa from the Middle East because they didn't want you to think or understand that the Middle East was Africa, and that the promise, all the holy land that you walk through, Jerusalem, Israel, all that over there in the Middle East, was North Africa. I'm not trying to put it to where, Africa is this, Africa is that, because Africa played its part in the transatlantic slave trade. A lot of you who don't realize, I got a question for you right now. And this going back to your history. You remember 1776, as they said, the Declaration of Independence, how they broke free from British, and about Paul Revere and all this other good stuff. Well, I got a question. How the founding fathers of America, James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, because right now that play is wide open. Alexander Hamilton. How do these fellas was able to speak Aramaic, a language that had nothing to do with the colonies or Jamestown, Virginia? How could James Madison and Alexander Hamilton speak a language that they was never ever familiar with? Right now, I can give you words that of the Greek origin, which we call Hebrew, which is really a broken language from Aramaic and Babylon. Okay, let me don't confuse you. Let's just stick to basics. How could James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, who was the forefathers, how could they speak Hebrew? Why would they speak Hebrew? Everything else was English. What was the need for them to speak Hebrew when everything that they spoke was English? There is a reason. Watch this. First thing, the Jews took over. And when I say the Jews, these are the ethnic Jews that is in Israel now. First thing they took over. Y'all ain't gonna like this. Y'all talk about them all the time. The Sanhedrins. You know them. Everybody who's in Christianity know that the Sanhedrins, know that, hey, the Pharisees, Sadducees, all of them was the one who put, you say Jesus, I say Emmanuel, put Emmanuel up and allowed the Romans to crucify him, not up under and not because he was who he was. They got the Romans to crucify him because they said, I want you to hear me, that he was putting himself as being the king of the Jews. Now you think, at that time Caesar Augustus, that time Pilate, Herod of the Roman origin was in power. And they knew that through the Jewish understanding, they couldn't find no fault in them. And when I say the Jewish understanding, that's what the Sanhedrin had, the Pharisees had, the Sadducees had. They was the upper class. They spoke a different language. They had a different way of life. And when Emmanuel came on the scene, he was beginning to stir up among the common people a hope, a set apartness, to where you wasn't conformed to that old lie of what you know. Now this is going to stir some feathers, and I know it is, but I tell you, everything that I say, how about you research it for yourself? Now look, the Sanhedrin had a book, and the book was called With Reverence for the Word, a Medieval Scriptural Elexis. Now let me spell it for you. Exegsis, Elexis. In Judaism, in chapter 4, it says in chapter 4 of the commentaries on the Song of Solomon, they are telling us that the watchmen are the ones who judge. They say that that's where they're from, that the Father made them the judge and keeper of the law. Well, you know that straight from the line of Jephthah. Let me really get you to understand this. I don't care what nobody say. Let's get this down pat right here. Truth is truth, whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not, whether you adhere to it or not. Truth is truth. There was only three. I want you to hear me. Three who populate and dictate this whole world. That was Shem, Japheth, and Ham. Because from Noah on back was destroyed in the flood. There was no more of them. There was none of all that other bloodline what you thinking of. See, Noah came through the line of Seth. That the line Noah came through. All the other lines were destroyed. Now, when Noah pitched on Mount Ararat, there was only 8 souls in the ark. You might not like to hear this, but it's the truth. Out of them 8 souls, only 6 of them plenished the earth. Because you couldn't say Noah, who was the 8th, him and his wife, because everything else came through Noah, from Noah. But now when you look at Shem, Japheth, and Ham, every human being that fart and breathe came from one of them 3. Everything you know of, every language that is spoken came from them 3. Every religion that you has came from them 3. My question is to you this. Straight from the line of Japheth, and you know that Emmanuel is straight from the line of Shem. Now, From the time of Moses, Noah's words. I want you to hear me on this. Noah's words came to life in Genesis, the 9th chapter. See, we're going on back with you. I need you to come on with your King James. Let's go to Genesis. All of you who got your books, I'm out to tell you from now on, you might have to bring your books, because why? I'll be in the book. I got Genesis, the 9th chapter, 25 through the 27th verse. And I'm going to use the King James Version. And 25 through 27 reads as follows. Now these were the words of Noah. Noah spoke it. Noah spoke it. And Noah awoke. This is the 24th verse, so you know I'm not lying. I'm speaking of Noah. Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his younger son had done to him. And he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren." Meaning that Canaan, who is the father of the Cushite, Kemet, Egyptians, Hamites, Ethiopians, all of them going to be a servant to his brethren, meaning to Japheth and to Shem. Did you hear it? Verse 26. And he said, "Blessed be the God of Shem." Now this is King James. I say Elohim. But right now I have to read what you understand. Blessed be the Elohim of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Son of Ham, gonna be his servant. Verse 27. Elohim shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Now let me bring you up to speed real quick, because I only have but so much time. Japheth enlarged himself so big that now he is in the place where Shem's supposed to be. Now let's bring this down through all the descendants. Let me give you a great preview. Japheth says that they is the chosen ones. Let's go to Ezekiel. See, tell you, I'm not going to play with you today. I'm going to really come at you. And the funny thing about it is, you cannot say he don't know what he's talking about, because all I'm doing is showing you what the book says. Ezekiel 38 verse 39. I'm going to go to Ezekiel 38, and I'm slowing down the verse. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Let's back up to 16 verse. Thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud, cover the land. And it shall be in the latter days, I will bring thee against the land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee. O Gog, before their eyes. G-O-G, God. So, if in verse 12 it's telling you about a descendant of Jephthah, my question is this: how come he say in verse 2 of 38, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesied against him? Isn't he the sons of Japheth? Go back and see. Genesis 10 should give you everything. Why is this so important? See, in verse 10, let me go to verse 10. Verse 10. Thus said Yah, it shall also come to pass that at the time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt, I'm on verse 11 now, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of the unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gate, to take a spoil, to take a prey, to turn thy hand upon the desolate place that are now inhabited. Let me stop right there. After 70 AD, Jerusalem was ransacked, tore up from the floor up. Whenever they ran everybody out there, by 135 CE, even the language of Hebrew wasn't even spoken no more. I gave you some dates. Them dates are so important, so you will know who is taking your place and teaching you that you is the second-class citizens, when really you is the chosen ones. See, listen. Shem is replaced in his own tent. Ezekiel tells you the whole story. This is why Jephthah is so powerful now. Ezekiel 39. Let's go to Ezekiel 39 then. I've done 38. Let's do 39. Let's see what it says in 39. Come on. Back up. 39. In your King James Version, Ezekiel 39. And it says, listen. Therefore the Son of Man prophesies against God, which is Jephthah's son, and say, Thus says Yah, Behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief of Prince Meshach and Tubal. I will turn thee back, and leave but the sixth part of thee, and I will cause thee to come up from the northern parts. Now hold right there. Where were the 10 Germanic tribes from? The north. Come on. And cause thee to come up from the northern part, and I will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. My question is this: Who is dwelling in Israel right now? Huh? See, it's telling you straight to your face. If you read it and do some studying, how he going to destroy Jephthah? Not because of he took Shem place. He's going to destroy Jephthah because right now everybody, here, I'm going to cut the light on a little bit more so you can see my face better. Everybody is drunk with the doctrine and teachings of Jephthah right now. You say, I don't like the Catholic Church, but you Protestants is sprung from that. Huh? What you think? Where you think you got it from when they say they crept in unaware and spied us out? The Sanhedrin was there with them from the beginning, saying he is a part of you. Rome, watch this, when Rome conquered your language, what you don't realize, Greek is Hebrew backwards. All your Greek and Roman numerals and Greek letters, that is Hebrew backwards. Why they took it? Why were the founding fathers speaking Aramaic? Because somebody was coming who spoke Aramaic. They didn't speak African. They didn't speak Swahili. Go look up for yourself. James Madison, Alexander Hamilton was fluent in Hebrew, because that's the only way they communicated with their slaves. And who were the slaves? I told you Africa was not, as you put it, oh, they went to the African coast and they took all the African brothers. Yeah, you lied. Africa sold Judah to the Portuguese. He sold Judah to Spain. He sold Judah to the British. He sold Judah to the Americans. They didn't came and stole nobody. Everybody was rounded up by Africa. Go look and read for your own self. Every tribe, they went out and conquered those who wasn't a part of Africa and sold them. Don't you know how many millions of Hebrews were sold during the transatlantic slave line? Jephthah got Ham, which is the Africans, to round up everything that looked like Shem and sell them, to disperse. This is why you don't hear nothing about Shem. This is why. Because Jephthah stole his identity. I'm going to tell you to your face, whether they public it or not, whether they put it out there or not. The ones in Israel, yes, they is part of Israel. But they are part of the northern tribe. The 10 kings who never ever looked Yahweh. Never looked at Yah. Never worshiped Yah. Never ever even acknowledged that who he was. Only 2 did. I ain't even put that like that. Only two. Judah and Benjamin. Them is where the bride is coming out of. Hey y'all, I'm gonna come. This is the end of the second series. We got many more series to ride. I'm gonna bring you from Jerusalem to the American shore. And I want you to stay tuned. Because if you miss something, then you can come up with a lot of excuses. But if you stay tuned and hold on, you'll see what I'm saying is the truth. I know it's Friday night and I know everybody out there doing their thing and want, bump and, hey, boom, boom, boom. But I say on Saturday morning, whenever you was sitting there and you ain't got nothing to do, pop this video on. Understand who you is and what you is. Shalom.